Imagine waking up tomorrow and every clock is gone. Not broken, gone. Your phone has no time. Your microwave has no time. Your oven has no time. Your laptop has no little number in the corner. Your watch is useless. Your alarm is dead. Even the clock on the wall, the one nobody looks at until the Wi-Fi goes out, has vanished. Now someone says, meet me at 3:15. Good luck. You do not know 3:15. You barely know Tuesday. Modern humans are surrounded by time so completely that we forget how strange it is. Little numbers tell us when to wake up, when to eat, when to leave, when to work, when to stop working, when a meeting starts, when a meeting should have ended 40 minutes ago. We live inside invisible boxes called hours. But ancient humans did not have phones. They did not have clocks. They did not have watches. They did not have calendar notifications. They did not have a tiny rectangle screaming, "You have 5 minutes to leave or everything falls apart." Okay, so how did humans tell time before clocks? The first answer is simple. They did not tell time the way we do. Ancient humans were not walking around saying the mammoth meeting has been moved from 2:30 to 2:45. They did not need exact minutes for most of daily life. Their world was not controlled by schedules on a screen. It was controlled by light, dark, heat, cold, hunger, weather, animals, plants, the moon, the stars, and the giant glowing ball in the sky that was basically the first clock, the sun. If you remove every modern clock from your life, the sun immediately becomes important again. In the morning, the world changes. The air feels different. The light returns. Birds get louder. Shadows stretch long across the ground. Your body starts to wake up. Ancient humans did not need a number to know morning had arrived. Morning was not 6:48. Morning was when the darkness lifted, the camp became visible, the temperature shifted, and the world started moving. That was enough. For most of human history, time was not a number. Time was a condition. It was not 8 o'clock. It was the sun is low. It was the shadows are short. It was the air is cooling. It was the animals are moving. It was we need to get back before dark. And honestly, that sounds much calmer than checking your phone 70 times before breakfast. The sun gave humans the biggest daily pattern. Sunrise, morning, midday, afternoon, sunset, night. That might seem basic, but basic was powerful. If you knew the sun was rising, you knew the day was beginning. If the sun was high overhead, you knew the day was near its hottest and brightest point. If the sun was dropping, you knew darkness was coming. And darkness mattered. Darkness was not just bedtime. Darkness changed everything. It made travel harder. It made predators harder to see. It made tools harder to use. It made food harder to find. It made injuries more dangerous. It made every shadow suspicious. So ancient humans probably paid close attention to how much daylight remained. A modern person might say, we have about 2 hours. An ancient person might look at the sun and think, we need to move now. Not because they knew the exact time, because they knew the day was running out. Shadows were another clue. When the sun moves across the sky, shadows move too. In the morning, shadows are long. Near midday, shadows are shorter. Later in the day, shadows grow long again, pointing in a different direction. You do not need a clock to notice that. You just need to be outside. And ancient humans were very outside. Painfully outside. No office, no curtains, no weather app, just sky. All the time. A stick in the ground could show the movement of the sun by the changing shadow. A person could notice where shadows usually fell at certain parts of the day. A rock, tree, hill, cave entrance, or shelter opening could become a rough time marker. When the shadow reaches that stone, it is time to move. When sunlight hits this side of the shelter, the day is getting late. When the shade reaches the fire pit, bring the food in. Not exact, but useful. And ancient time did not have to be exact to work. That is one of the biggest things modern humans forget. We think time means precision, but for most of human life, time meant rhythm. The rhythm of the day, the rhythm of the body, the rhythm of the group, the rhythm of the seasons. Ancient humans probably had routines. Wake when the light changes, move when the air is cool, rest when the heat is harsh, return before dark, gather when certain plants are ready, watch when animals migrate, sleep when the fire is settled and the group is safe. Nobody needed a smartwatch to know they were tired. Although imagine an ancient smartwatch. Congratulations, you ran from danger for 11,000 steps. Heart rate elevated. Yes, because a giant cat was involved. The body itself was also a clock. Hunger tells time, sleepiness tells time, body temperature tells time, energy tells time. Your eyes respond to light, your brain responds to darkness. Your body has internal rhythms that help organize waking, sleeping, eating, and alertness. Ancient humans did not understand that in scientific language, but they lived it. They knew when people usually got hungry. They knew when children got tired. They knew when the group needed rest. They knew when heat made movement harder. They knew when cold made staying still dangerous. Their bodies were not perfect clocks, but they were not useless. The problem is that modern life has made us suspicious of our own body signals. You can feel exhausted and still think, but it is only 9:12. You can feel hungry and check the time to decide if hunger is allowed. Ancient humans did not need permission from a clock to be hungry. If the group was hungry, tired, hot, cold, or losing daylight, that was information. And then there was the night sky. Before artificial light, the night was darker, much darker, which means the moon and stars were more visible and more important. The moon changes shape across the month. Stars shift through the night and across seasons. Certain star patterns appear at certain times of year. To modern people, stars are decorative. To ancient people, stars were part of the map of time. They could help with direction. They could help with seasons. They could help people notice patterns far bigger than a single day. And the moon was impossible to ignore. A full moon changed the night. It made travel easier. It made the landscape more visible. It changed how much humans could see after sunset. A dark, moonless night was a different kind of night. So ancient humans did not just experience night. They experienced many kinds of night. Bright nights, dark nights, cold nights, windy nights, dangerous nights, useful nights, moonlit nights, cloud-covered nights where the sky refused to help. And then there were seasons. This was where ancient timekeeping became much bigger than daily time, because knowing the time of day is useful, but knowing the time of year can decide whether a group survives. When do certain plants grow? When do fruits ripen? When do animals migrate? When do rivers flood? When does the cold arrive? When do storms come? When is it safe to travel? When should food be stored? When should shelter be improved? When will the days start getting shorter? Ancient humans had to notice seasonal patterns because the world changed around them. Plants appeared, disappeared, bloomed, dried, froze, or returned. Animals moved. Insects appeared in different amounts. Temperatures changed, daylight changed, the sun rose and set in slightly different places across the year. The moon cycled. The stars shifted. The world was basically giving clues all the time. Ancient humans had to pay attention or suffer the consequences, and the consequences were not small. Missing a season did not mean missing a dentist appointment. It could mean arriving too late for a food source. It could mean being caught in bad weather. It could mean not preparing enough for cold. It could mean traveling when conditions were dangerous. It could mean the group made a mistake that everyone felt. Modern calendars are printed. Ancient calendars were lived. They were in the sky, in the plants, in the animals, in the temperature, in the smell of the air, in the length of the day, in the memory of the group. And memory mattered a lot. Older people probably carried an enormous amount of time knowledge. They remembered when certain places became useful. They remembered which season brought which danger. They remembered where water might dry up. They remembered when animals tended to move. They remembered what happened last time the group stayed too long. That kind of knowledge is easy to underestimate now because we can look things up. Ancient humans could not search. When do berries ripen near a cave? They had to know, or know someone who knew. That made shared memory extremely valuable. A person who remembered seasonal patterns was not just old. They were a living calendar with opinions, and probably some complaints. I told you the flies would be bad here. Nobody listened. Now everyone is itchy. Animals also helped humans read time. Birds call at certain parts of the day. Some animals are more active at dawn, some at dusk. Some insects get louder at certain times. Some creatures disappear when the air changes. Some behavior signals weather. Ancient humans who watched animals carefully could learn from them. If birds suddenly got quiet, that might mean something. If insects became louder at sunset, that told you something. If certain animals moved at certain times, that mattered. Again, this was not clock time. This was world time. The world was always changing, and humans learned to read the changes. Weather also shaped time. Clouds could hide the sun, storms could change the plan, wind could make fire harder, Rain could make travel slower, heat could force rest, cold could force movement. A modern clock keeps ticking even when the weather changes. Ancient life did not work like that. If a storm arrived, the schedule changed. If fog covered the land, the schedule changed. If heat became dangerous, the schedule changed. If the group needed shelter before dark, the schedule changed. Time was flexible because survival was flexible. This is why the question, how did ancient humans know what time it was, needs a different answer. They usually did not need to know the exact time. They needed to know the right moment to leave, the right moment to rest, the right moment to gather, the right moment to hunt, the right moment to return, the right moment to prepare for night, the right moment to move camp, the right moment to stop pretending they could make it before sunset. And humans are very good at building habits around repeated moments. Everyday patterns become routines. If the group always began moving after sunrise, people learned that rhythm. If food preparation happened when the sun dropped, people learned that rhythm. If night watch changed when the moon reached a certain position, people could learn that too. Not with numbers, with repeated experience. A lot of ancient time was probably social. The group helped decide what time meant. Someone wakes others, someone says it is time to go, someone notices the sky changing, someone sees animals moving, someone smells rain, someone remembers the season, someone complains loudly enough that everyone agrees to stop. Humans did not tell time alone. They told time together. Even today, we still do this. You might not know the exact time, but if everyone at work starts packing up, you know something. If the restaurant starts turning chairs over, you know something. If your dog stands by the bowl staring into your soul, you know exactly what time it is. Not clock time, dog time. And dog time is serious. Before clocks, humans lived closer to dog time, sun time, hunger time, shadow time, weather time, and plant time. It sounds primitive, but it was actually very intelligent. They were not less aware of time. They were aware of a different kind of time. Modern time is precise. Ancient time was environmental. Modern time says it is 7:30. Ancient time says the light has changed, the air is cooling, the birds are settling, and we should not be far from camp. Modern time says lunch is at noon. Ancient time says we are hungry, the heat is high, and this is a good moment to rest. Modern time says winter starts on a date. Ancient time says the nights are longer, the plants are changing, the animals are moving, and the cold is coming. That kind of time is not worse. It is just less obsessed with tiny numbers. Of course, humans eventually invented more formal ways to track time. Shadows became tools. Sun positions became measurements. The moon helped mark months. Seasonal markers became calendars. People observed solstices, stars, and repeating cycles. Eventually, humans made sundials, water clocks, calendars, mechanical clocks, watches, phones, alarms, and finally, the most dangerous invention of all, the meeting reminder. But before all that, humans were already timekeepers. They had to be. They read the sky. They read the land. They read animals. They read plants. They read their own bodies. They read each other. They read shadows like messages from the sun, and they did it well enough to survive for a very long time without ever knowing it was 4:07. So the next time your phone dies and you panic because you cannot see the time, remember this. Ancient humans did not need a glowing rectangle to know the day was changing. They looked up. They looked around. They paid attention, and the world told them what time it was. Not in numbers, in signs, in light, in shadows, in hunger, in stars, in seasons, in the sound of animals settling down for the night. And honestly, that might be the strangest part. Modern humans have more clocks than any humans in history, and somehow we are still late.